Now, I think it's pretty safe to say that the future of the Star Wars universe seems to be quite expansive, not just with their books, novels, comics, and video games, but also, let's not forget about the new Star Wars TV shows, the new Star Wars movies that are currently in the works, as well as a handful of other announcements coming our way at Disney Plus Day and D23. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way, guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you also very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, one thing that a lot of Star Wars fans have really been looking forward to is, of course, what Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni have in store for a majority of the Star Wars material coming our way, such as live action and animated Star Wars TV shows, new Star Wars lore that's going to be used in the books and the comics, you name it. So Jon and Dave really are on their A game in an attempt to really revive Star Wars and to bring it back to George Lucas's vision. Now, here we are, it is the beginning of August, we're getting closer to the fall, which is when a lot of animated material is going to begin to blossom for Star Wars, and eventually leading into The Mandalorian Season 3, which, by the way, is still slated for a February of 2023 release. So far, no delays, thankfully, cross your fingers, but overall, everything is moving forward just fine. Now, with that being said, however, what's even all the more intriguing has a lot to do with Jon Favreau and his take on the sequel trilogy, and of course exactly what Disney did with the sequel trilogy movies and the treatment of Luke Skywalker, and what Jon Favreau's stance really is on all of that, so to speak, when it came to episodes 7, 8, and 9 back in, of course, 2015 all the way until 2019 when it met its end. Now, with that being said, however, of course, with creators Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni now developing their new Star Wars TV shows and projects that will be announced by this fall, however, recently Jon Favreau engaged in an interview when he was questioned about The Mandalorian Season 3 and 4. He was eventually questioned about the sequel trilogy to where he stated the following to the fans. That's actually what drove me to get involved with Star Wars after I saw The Last Jedi. I knew that I had to create a proper story that would build up to Luke Skywalker that fans have wanted to see since they were teenagers, reading those books and all of those novels that inspired so many writers as well. When Episode 9 came out into theaters, I heard of the backlash and everything that was going to, of course, and was going on, and I just couldn't help myself but to see the sadness from fans with Episode 8 as well, and what they didn't like about Luke. Now, I respect Rian Johnson and what his vision was for that movie, but I would have never done what he did for Luke in the film, especially let alone the middle of a trilogy. I would have at the very least saved his death until the very end of the trilogy, and there is no question I would have brought Luke to travel with Rey or something, anything. Something was very wrong and misplaced with those movies, which is the main reason I came on board of The Mandalorian. Myself and Dave respect some of the lore in the sequels, and we are aware we can't change everything, but we are using our resources to reshape some of the established lore in the trilogy. Once Episode 9 went into production, I was still making The Mandalorian Season 1, and I got word that they were backing away from using Luke the way they originally intended from Trevorrow's script. So, let me just pause here for a second of what Favreau is making clear to the Star Wars community, is that he is being very clear that he was aware that the fans had a lot of, problems with episodes 7 through 9 based on what Rian Johnson did, based on what J.J. Abrams had done for, of course, these movies. Now, obviously, you can see that this definitely matches up with how Favreau introduced Luke so fast. Alright, once Episode 9 came out, it only took a year for us to get the Luke that we all wanted in Episode 9 in The Mandalorian Season 2. Alright, so December of 2020 was a very special month because it really turned things around and made us realize that Favreau and Filoni are not only creating new characters like Din Djarin, but they're also bringing back many of the fan favorite characters like Luke and others into the equation. And they're going to be doing that more and more with their upcoming seasons, with their upcoming new Star Wars TV shows, you name it. So, once again, you can tell that Favreau is a very classy guy. He's not pointing fingers at Rian Johnson or, you know, calling anybody out per se in a negative or, you know, a direct way like that, but he's pointing out all the flaws of the sequel trilogy and how he himself really felt that it was very misplaced, that Disney really failed with those movies without really kind of going too hard on people like JJ and or Ryan. So I respect that, I do. So he goes on to say the following. I just knew at that moment, in that point, I had to do something with Luke in Mandalorian Season 2. This was before I wrote the season at the time, and I knew I needed to fix the fans' love for Star Wars and for Luke. You see, the Skywalkers are the center of everything. You can't shift away from that, not just yet. I never agreed with what Disney did with Luke in the sequels. Things were very misguided and not arranged properly with that character. I also will never understand how they never got all three characters together right from the start. To me, that was the biggest missed opportunity in pop culture and in the film industry. They really could have done something magical for the fans, but did not do so. I actually met up with Michael Arndt when he was working on the original scripts for Episode 7, and he told me he had such great plans for Luke to have so much screen time right off the bat in the first film. This, of course, all eventually shifted and changed once they got Abrams on board, who I respect too, but they never seemed to respect Skywalker, who is my favorite character in Star Wars, no doubt. I mean, I always looked up to him as a young guy. Now, in case you guys are unaware about this too, I don't know if you guys know Michael Arndt, but he was the original, writer of Episode 7. He was working on the script, and he had a lot of actual ideas where Luke Skywalker was going to be in the majority of Episode 7. He was going to actually jump in the second act of the film and have a lot of scenes with Rey, training with her, going on adventures with her, and Disney eventually had a change of heart. Bob Iger had a change of heart, convinced Kathleen Kennedy that this was not the way to go because Luke's presence was going to take away the limelight of the new characters. At the time, Finn was called Sam, and you had other characters like Kylo Ren, who was called the Jedi Hunter, all these different things. But at the same exact time, too, they were going to have a lot of Luke in Episode 7, and Favreau was very excited about that as a fan, because he loves the character of Luke. And you can see why it crushed him, too, when Rian Johnson did what he did with The Last Jedi, which still to this very day, I say, is, I believe, unforgivable to a lot of fans. I don't think that's going to leave a lot of hardcore fans or even casual fans out there of what they did with Luke and all the missed opportunities they had in Episode 8. So overall, I think that at the end of the day, Favreau does have his head on straight. There's a lot of Luke Skywalker material coming for The Mandalorian Season 4, as well as the Ahsoka Tano series, and more to arrive that's really going to turn things around for the fans. I think that we got a minor speed bump, I should say, with the Book of Boba Fett, as well as the Kenobi series, but beyond that, nothing else involves Kathleen Kennedy except the Acolyte and Skeleton Crew. So that kind of really does give us a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel here, and what to expect for the future of Star Wars. So overall, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you guys have to say about this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Night to moon,